Suck up, fit people, and welcome to Sound 88, your place to get the confidence to try things yourself. My name is Henry Frank, I'm a music producer, and today's video, I want to talk about a few producers that I've been watching for the last few months that I personally enjoy each and every one of them for specific purposes. But I know a lot of people, including these producers themselves, may not necessarily agree with that concept, but I hope that I can make an argument that makes sense as to why I'm doing it, and I can compare it with my own experience outside of music and how maybe some of you guys who do follow either all of them or some of them by choice, preference, or influence may see a different point of view in that sense. So anyway, if this is your first time, definitely consider to subscribe. My channel is all about music production, getting to try things yourself, not being afraid to make mistakes and learn from them and improve. That's what this channel is all about. So quickly, a little backstory about myself. I started making beats in 2005 when I first came from Haiti. And I kid you not, I didn't know nothing about nothing. That includes I didn't even know how to speak English really. I knew a couple, I knew a few things just to pass by, but I know for a fact like my icebreaker sentence was the weather's nice today. That was if someone would come close to me, that's the only thing I would probably to start a conversation with, that type of sentence. But I really didn't know anything about music production, and I only got a hold of Fruity Loops at the time. It was not called FL Studio. It was a cracked version on a laptop. Got a hold of it. I just fell in love with the whole process of sequencing drums and stuff like that, and decided to upgrade. At the time, I think with my little paycheck working at a retail store, I went and got me the M-Box at the time, the Pro Tools 7.2 HD. Man, I thought I was on top of the world, but little did I know, not much. I thought I knew sound selection, but now these days I understand what I was doing wrong. But just to quickly transition to why I'm doing this video, okay? I stopped making music entirely in 2008. And between 2005 and 2008, I really got the concept of making beats, of choosing different drums and stuff like that, but never really took it far. It was something that I enjoyed doing. I would be making some beats for some of my friends and stuff like that, but nothing like professional. So 2008, I stopped for personal reasons, but I sold everything that I had, or at least the little things that I had, and focused on other things. And so I got back into music last year, music production last year. But at least I'm proud of myself during this whole 14 years of not remotely looking at music. I know it's hard to, I know it's gonna sound silly when someone says, yeah, for 14, like you were making music and then you stop and you're gonna tell someone for 14 years you have not done music. It's possible because I've done it. You have to be disciplined, and it's not because I didn't want to, but also I didn't really have anybody around me doing music like that. So during those 14 years, got married, 3 kids, and joined the military, completed my service, finished my bachelor just recently, about 3 months ago, finished with my MBA, and now heading towards my doctorate. So I'm really proud of that. Now, when I started back into music production, for the last 14 years, a lot of my blueprint process for anything that I do, including school, work, or anything that I get involved in, I do watch a lot of YouTube videos. I'm very much a visual learner. I do hear a lot of different things, but I try to apply them in order for me to make mistakes and to learn from them. So same as everything else I've done, started back into music production, then started going on YouTube to try to find anything related to music production. At the time, that was around probably June 2022 that I started looking that up. Most of the videos I would find were more related to mixing tutorial. There are some amazing engineers that I've come across, including Wavy Wayne, Devon Terrell with Help Me Devon, and so forth, but nothing related to music production per se. Not until the end. I think it was the end of December or early. It was the end of December. The first channel that I found was dametaylor. Now, when I found dametaylor, I realized, oh crap, like this is exactly what I was looking for. Something just dedicated to music production, and I can probably learn from it. And I kid you not, man, I've learned a lot from this guy. Like, when I first started watching him, especially because my thought process is really based on 2005, 2006, 2007 concept. With him, what he was suggesting on how to break into the industry, certain ways to think about if you have a goal of getting with an artist. Let's say you have a goal to be in the studio of a specific artist. Let's say by December, you should shoot for that goal and try to manage your production to fit the type of music that artists would like. In the midst of watching dametaylor, then he mentioned another guy that I didn't really, of course, I didn't know about these guys. So he mentioned busyworksbeats. At the time that he mentioned his name, he was mostly talking about how pretty much you gotta be careful because a lot of people gaslight what they do and what they say, and this and that. And I think it was around the time that either they had a live session and one was questioning the other, and it didn't really go well. And I think within a week, busyworksbeats made a video about his live session with dametaylor. This whole chaos kind of started. But for myself, I have my own process. I don't just listen to what somebody says about somebody else and just take their words for it. I'm not stupid either. I'm not just gonna hear what somebody says and just go for it, even though they told me about it. I will be careful, right? But at the same time, I will check for myself. I will assess that their character, their service / product, whatever it is. I will assess it for myself, because a lot of times I can take bits and pieces from everybody to make it my own. I think that's pretty much the concept of this whole video. When I checked busyworksbeats, I liked his personality and so forth. Of course, each of these guys have their own person. I have my own. There's some stuff that people don't really like about me. I'm such an introvert anyway. Just me making YouTube videos is really me trying to get out of my shell, because this is not 2005. So when I started watching busyworksbeats channel, since I started back in music production, I went back to what I knew, which was FL Studio. Well, now called FL Studio. I was looking for Fruity Loops the whole time. I was like, where? Oh, FL Studio. Cool. I got back into that. So when I first started watching his channel, it made sense to me because of what I was using. So he had a lot of tutorials about tips and tricks on FL Studio and how to do certain things, how to mix your drums and so forth. But eventually I transitioned to Studio One. I've had Studio One for the past year and a half, and I enjoyed the mixing process of it, the user interface and everything, but I really started enjoying the actual production side of it. I think it's an amazing DAW, and shout out to Bolo Da Producer. He always pitch Studio One. I think a lot of people sleep on it. That's okay. There's a lot of amazing DAWs out there. As long as you can get the best out of whatever you use, that's what matters. So since I started watching, or since I started using Studio One, I kind of pulled back a little bit from Busy Work Beats, but really I kept watching both Dame Taylor and Busy Work Beats. Here's the reason why. Although a lot of times on Dame Taylor's channel kind of suggest people, hey, if you're watching, don't get confused. Like, don't go on one platform and come back here and get confused. While I understand what he means by that, I think for me, with my personal experience, it's like going to college, right? And if you're going for a nursing degree, you might have accounting as part of your core classes or part of your core curriculum. It's not an elective, so you can't skip it. You have to pass it. Whether you pass it with a D, C, whatever the school requirement is, you got to pass it. Now, not because your goal is to get a nursing degree and accounting is part of your curriculum, you're just going to go sit down in the class and just cross your arm like, I'm just here because they want me to be here. Chances are you will have to you might do that the first time and realize, crap, you didn't pass the class. You can't graduate because you need to pass that class. That kind of happened to me for something specific. That's why I'm using that as an example. So you eventually have to, get by and at least pass the class. Now, again, not because your eyesight was on the degree in nursing means you shouldn't pass the accounting class. The reason I'm comparing these two is if you go from your biology class and your next course is to go across campus to go to your accounting class, you have to shift your mind. You have to know you're gonna be dealing with numbers and not with anatomy. If you're coming from biology, you have to be able to switch your mind effectively in order for you to gain the knowledge that you need to pass those classes. It's the same thing for me. I was able to make a distinction between Busy Work Beats channel and Dame Taylor's channel, and realize that Dame Taylor definitely talks more about ways that are like more in theory on how to apply yourself and how to have a certain mindset when you're trying to accomplish your goal. And these are valuable information for me. And when I go to Busy Works Beats channel, it's more on the technical side of things. We're talking about like how to, hey, this is the button you have to click to do this and FL Studio and stuff like that. So these two channels were valuable to me. So whether Dame Taylor said, suggest not to get confused, I know not to get confused. I know what I need to get from each of these channels. Now, fast forward, I ended up having a beat submission for review on Dame Taylor's channel. And, when he listened to the beat, and that's the part I want to share, how you can gain some information and improve yourself, even if you think your butt hurt or it strike your ego or whatever. Like if you take that information and use it effectively, you will be better, period. So when he did the beat review for me, he listened to the whole thing and was like, all right, it's not bad, it's cool, but those drums, man, like you should get rid of those drums, like for real. Like it's not hitting whatsoever. It's bad. Obviously I'm human, of course it hurts a little bit. Like, really, I thought it was good, you know what I mean? Like, I know the melody and all these parts, like melodies and stuff, like I know I had that, but drums and all that stuff, I know these are either one, I'm not there yet, which that's not what my mindset was at the time when he did the review, or two, it's subjective, which at the time, at that quick moment, was what I thought. That's subjective, but I continued watching the whole live, and at the end of it, he ended up he ended up listening to another beat to another beat that everybody, including myself in the chat, were like, yo, this beat is fire, this beat is dope, So what did I do? I went back and decided to I went back on the live and decided to clip both my beat when he was doing the review and the beat that everybody enjoyed, including myself. By comparing these two, hey, it's the same audio, so it's not like, oh, well, you're listening to this one in a different speaker or in whatever. The same audio. So immediately, I saw the difference. I was like, crap. Like, how is this beat like so loud and full and the drums hit? Like, mine is like, it's more like conceptual. It has potential, but it's flat. It's like, it's nothing. That's when I decided to take that information that he suggested, that, yo, get rid of those drums or whatever. And I was like, you know what, maybe I need to get me some new drums and so forth. So started doing that, started watching a lot of techniques to improve how your drums hit and all that stuff. But reality is, it starts with great drum selection. That's the first thing. But again, that's me coming back into music production thinking, oh, I know how to make beats. It's too easy. All right. Then while watching busyworksbeats, I also got to learn about another guy, and his name is Curtis King. Again, at the time, I think something did happen between Curtis King and busyworksbeats, whatever, either alive or they went at each other, whatever the case may be. That's when I started pulling back from myself, and I started thinking, man, is it a thing? Like, producers, they just beef online? Like, is it beef or do they know each other? I realized a lot of them, they kind of know each other, but I don't know if it's beef at the time, but it's kind of like, yeah, I'm better than this one or whatever the case may be. Me, I'm just here to soak in the best information I can soak in. I'm not going to get confused because if someone tells me go left and I go to the next channel, it says go right, I have to listen why I should go right and why I should go left. If you just tell me go left, period. The other one says go right because when you go left, it ends up like that. When you go right, it kind of make more sense. So I have to analyze both sides. So with Curtis King and busyworksbeats, not beefing at the time, but kind of like going at each other, of course, that strikes interest in me. Let me check him out. And when I did check Curtis King's channel, dude is mad chill, mad cool, like great content. I like the things he was talking about, and I like what his channel was about. He mainly focuses on different trends that are going in the industry. He also does beat review, which I'll come back to because that helped me a lot as well. And he talks about, different ways how you should apply yourself and in the whole music production thing, field. So now I have 3 people I'm watching. And in the midst of all of them, then I landed on Bolo Da Producer. Man, I love this guy, man. To be honest, man, I love watching Bolo Da Producer. Like, mad chill, always like down to earth. One thing I love about him, I guess I can relate to that because I'm not that young. And when he says, hey, you don't have to be young to be doing this. You don't have to do that. You don't have to have this amount of money or these type of gears. Of course, he does showcase the type of gears that he has. He has that, and he's a big MPC guy for sure. But I don't have that much analog gears per se. Now I'm investing in a couple of things because of what I've been learning the last couple months. But I have not had a lot of analog gears. Now, listening to Bolo Da Producer, I did get one of his drum kits as well, and he's absolutely amazing. I mean, the guy is, he talks a lot about the different things that he does in music, the different people that he worked with, but he doesn't focus on that. He kind of focuses on different ways to get gears. Matter of fact, one of the sites that he partnered with, I use them. And it's great because I get a lot of different things that I didn't have to necessarily put a lot more money on the side besides pay my bills and everything like that. But I can actually save up and do payment plan and stuff like that and still get what I need and pay it over time. Fantastic. I love that. Eventually, I landed on the almighty easki. Man, I felt stupid for my, like I did, because I'm like, how the hell did I not know about this guy? No, I know I stayed away from music in general for the longest, but not knowing about easki made me feel like, damn it, I felt stupid for a little bit. But I got to know a lot about easki. That's how I am. I do as much homework as I can if it's available. And when I started watching easki's channel, like when he was talking about sounds, the importance of sounds, and he's talking about the difference between analog and sounds coming straight from the box, from your DAW. Like, I kind of understood what he was saying, but because I didn't have much experience with analog gears like that, in my head I'm like, well, you know, in 2022, 2023, like, now that I'm back into the whole music thing, there's a plugin for everything. Like, this plugin is pretty much doing the same thing that a LA2A compressor is. Like, I know that I've looked up the actual LA2A compressor, seeing like $3-4 grand. I'm like, this one's like for $30. Like, is that even possible? But mine, like, I'm like, there's no way that can be the exact same thing. But I guess if you want to experience a saturation level or experience how it could feel, that's probably the best way to go, at least to start. But if you want the real thing, you probably would need the actual compressor. But to get away from that, easki also is really, really down to earth. And he really focuses on sound, on why sound is important. Like, you can have dope beats and cool, but your sound need to be absolutely clean. And because of that, I started looking back at his old interviews, and I've seen one interview that he had where he brought a crew to check out his studio, and we're talking about 1993. Just to put out my age, at the time, I was 7 years old. I was back in Haiti. I didn't remotely think about music whatsoever. I was probably watching Power Rangers, whatever. He was talking about sounds, 1993, about how this SP1200 does this and how this does that. And I'm like, wow, this guy, since 1993, knew his thing. So right off the bat, I really got interested in what he had to say and started following his channel a lot. So now I have 5 people lined up that some people would probably not watch 4 of them and watch just 1, or some people would watch 2 and not 3 and not 2, whatever. I watch all 5, and I watch all 5 because each of them they all have a purpose for me. You have dametaylor that talks like, he's more not blunt per se, but he's more like straightforward, like, this is trash, but here's how you can improve. That's what I like about him. He doesn't just say it's trash and just pull back. And of course, his backstory with Hit Boy as well was a very, very interesting story, and I was like, that's cool. He learned from it, and that's a whole different storyline. Then you have busyworksbeats. Maybe sometimes I don't like the whole gas. I mean, the guy, it is what it is. If that's what it is what it is. But gaslighting, certain things about exposing the industry and stuff like that. I don't know if the word exposing is probably the best thing, but when I'm watching these guys, I'll kind of focus more on dametaylor and busyworksbeats specifically in that aspect. I kind of know what to skip for myself. Like, they start talking about like how, this one is trash, and that, like, I'll probably skip over that until I can get to the parts that are more practical for me. Then I'll watch that. Same with Busy Work Beats, and if it's something that has nothing to do with something that can help me, I'll probably skip that. Curtis King is very entertaining. The reason I want to get back to Curtis King, because I also did a beat review with Curtis King recently, maybe about 2 weeks ago or so. And that's when I knew my beats were probably improving sound-wise and everything, because when he did the review, he listened to it entirely. I was like, you know, yo, the beat is dope, but those snares, man, I hate the snares. Like, I kid you not, Curtis King really hated the snares. I felt bad. I was like, damn, it's that bad. I mean, I know it was preference, because like a lot of times actually when I first made the beat, I used just a clean snare, a regular snare, and then I was like, let me try to make it interesting. But what's so funny, because in the chat when when he was doing the review, somebody mentioned something about the snare sounded like Lay's chips. I'm like, damn. That made me laugh. I can't lie to you. That made me laugh, because I was like, man, damn, I didn't think of that. If I thought about Lay's chips, I'll probably pull back and do something else. I mean, but point is, like, but everybody else in the chat for the most part were like, yeah, the snare could be different, but it definitely this beat definitely hit, you know. And even Curtis King as well was like, yo, you like right there, but snares, man, like change those snares, but the beat's fire, you know. And I appreciated it, because I went from like, yeah, this ain't it at all, to like, you know, some people in the chat saying, yeah, it's fire, it's dope, you know, it hits. That's when I knew my sound started improving. And these are important as well. Like all these guys, they do offer beat review, at least 4 of them. And you have easki, for instance, which I'm getting ready to have a consultation with him and stuff like that, and to gain more knowledge. I want to learn more. I want to be better. So if you do end up watching all these, you probably will have your preference. But all I'm here to say is, do not just skip on them because one says not to check out the other. Check for yourself, make your own assessment, but know how to make the difference, because they're all dope. Until then, I hope y'all enjoyed the show. I hope I didn't make it too controversial. And I know all these guys are different, but I hope you guys can check them out for yourself. Until then, peace.